Good morning, everyone. It's Matt with Downrange Firearms. I'm here with a P40 Warhawk update. All the stuff that I think I've done in the last week. Everything kind of blurs together. I just kind of run and gun on this project as quick as I can while still doing it as right as possible. So I'm going to get out from in front of the camera real quick and kind of show you some of the other stuff. Just because this is sponsored by the store. Swing by the shop. We've got a bunch of cool new firearms training, all the good stuff that goes with that one. So without further ado, let's get into the fun of the construction stuff. Starting going forward, I think this is newly installed. So these were cut from our leftover 3/4 ply parts. So those are put into place. This whole thing's going to need a good scrape down and sand job from all the excess, but I would much rather have too much epoxy than not nearly enough epoxy, especially on stuff like this. I think we covered this stuff last time, but just for the sake of thoroughness, yep, we've got those installed. Those are the external fuel tank brackets. Depending on how I go with that route, I still like the idea of doing an external fuel tank. We'll see how things go. I'll probably need to go with a bigger motor than the standard 100 horsepower Continental that the plans speak for, but we'll figure stuff out. We got all of these webbings in place. I need to do the 16th inch ply backer, just like I did on the back. I'm probably going to go with 3/32. I want it a little stronger. Plus, I found something on Dino Dodd's channel earlier today when I read his last night update about some seatbelt mounting issues. His mounts are further back. These guys right here, I'm hoping these might help me out to be able to kind of serve in that capacity for that mount, but I'm going to take a look at my plans versus his video again, figure out where exactly his mount's set up. This is where the seat actually physically goes. So I'm assuming one of these with a plywood doubler on it would probably serve as our seatbelt mounts if we needed to. So like I said, I'm going to look closer at the plans to figure that one out. Other stuff that we added on, we got all of the gussets on the rear of the tail here squared away. These are seatbelt mounts as well. This will probably be our shoulder belt mounts that will actually string forward over the back and then down. So that's where those are going to go. And then these are all related to, at least according to the plans, are all directly related to our tail wheel mount. So those two and these guys right here. This doubler got a little excited. I just didn't trim that sucker down. I might take a file to it just to take it down. What we're talking ounces of weight, so I don't know if I'm going to worry about it or not. So that's where we're at with the actual construction components of this thing. So what's coming next? This has all been prepped already, as you can see. Right now, this rear web is epoxied in place. So this one's done completely. This one's next. The reason I haven't done the others yet is I just didn't have clamps, honestly. So you get these little spring hand clamps, are great for kind of holding these in place. This guy right here probably needs a little more trimming. As you can see from the top, he is up above the edge. This needs to be completely flat so we can skin it appropriately. And I think it's the same on the bottom. If it's not, no, it's not on the bottom. But a little bit more trimming for that one to be good to go. Same thing with this one. I need to double check the trimming and fitment on that one. At face value, I think I might be there, but it's a little extended, so we'll probably sand that down a little bit more. We brought the fancy schmancy sander from the shop, but we got a new one there, so this one's now a permanent fixture, and I'll probably also have a tabletop drill press coming forward. Today is also going to be cleanup day, I think. I think I've made enough sawdust on the table and everywhere else that it's time to sweep everything up, clean up all the hazards, and actually make the shop space look nice before I kind of keep pushing forward. But we'll see how that one kind of goes. I may get bored of cleaning quicker than not and get back to actual construction. All right, so moving forward from there, like I said, the webs and the doublers are all in place. The way I did, missed that video. The web and the doublers are all in place. The way I did that was I clamped the doubler to the bracket so they were mounted where they were trimmed, and then I glued the gusset to the doubler, clamped those together, and then removed the whole unit to let them dry on here so that I could do some other modifications. The big reason I did that was actually more for this one than for those two. Those two, it mattered a little bit less. This one was super important. Big reason this one was important because this doubler as you can see here, goes all the way inside of the webbing. So I need that one to be precise. This one is pretty much the same way, though. I kind of had to do that there because of the same reason. The doubler, as you can see, goes all the way in past that webbing material. So that'll actually get epoxied to itself, or to each other, I should say. So that's why that's sitting there like that. Let's see where we got to go from there. So that's where that one's kind of at. If I work today, what I'll probably get done is I've got some more gussets. I'll show you those in a minute, but this will be on probably today's to-do list, is to get that webbing done. And then moving forward from there is our 3/4 gussets. As you can see from these right here, this portion's already done. That one's not. We're missing that guy and that guy right there. So I'm going to get those done next. The 3/4 ply that I ordered from Aircraft Spruce arrived, so that's good to go. So I'm going to get that sucker cut probably sometime this morning or this afternoon, depending on weather. We just had that massive storm roll through. I'm hoping to fly today. I fly at noon. Right now, though, we've got scattered clouds at 900, so based on that, that's probably not going to help anything. Still as can be, though, or at least at ground level, it's still as can be according to METAR, so we're going to see how that's going to kind of progress. We already took care of these. I already kind of mentioned those already. So that's all done and in place and ready to roll. The next thing that I got to do up here is I got to double check the plans, but I'm pretty sure it's this bracket and this bracket. This is the drop-in for the fuel tank. As you can see, my bracket lines up with there and here. Yeah, that's wrong. I'm actually going to have to take my fancy schmancy jigsaw and cut off here and here and remove these bars. They're actually supposed to be outward a little bit. So this bar is supposed to probably be, I believe, 1 inch out if I measured it right the other day. Same thing with you. This one's going to be pushed out 1 inch as well. Seeing as where this is the main belly of the fuel tank is supposed to go when this drops in, I'm going to expand that because I don't want to lose fuel capacity because I installed this improperly. So we're going to get those cut out, cut fresh 1/2 inch pieces, and get this installed the right way where they're supposed to actually go. Because again, I want all the capacity of this fuel tank that I can possibly get. So we're not going to waste that or ruin that at all. And let's see what's next on the agenda. Tail side. So I screwed some stuff up. I misread some areas of the plans as it seems. And it's right here. I'm still trying to figure out how far off I am. But so here's the gist of what I have that needs doing right now. This piece and this piece are not supposed to be there at all. And I don't believe this one or this one either. I believe these are supposed to be open top to bottom, and here's why. I have to build a solid web insert here and a solid web insert here that gets doubled, tripled technically with, I believe this one's 3/32 ply and this one is 1/8 inch ply, but this might be 1/8 as well. Actually, I think that this is 1/8 inch plied as well. So that bracket will actually, I believe this is our tail wheel mounting area. So this is actually going to have an open bottom with a cutout, which is for that wheel mount. So the way this is going to work, I'm pretty sure, is I have to remove this bar, this bar, this bar, this bar, and these are actually going to get replaced with solid doublers. This one gets replaced with a 3/4 inch thick flat walled off section, and then there's a 1/8 inch plywood one that extends up. So this whole insert will actually come out to about, I believe it's 3 inches above, and the whole thing gets, and then there's, I believe it's an 8 inch above, 1/8 inch plywood doubler that goes all the way top. I'm pretty sure that's for mounting the tail itself. So that's going to be our tail mounting surface as well. Same thing with here. And there's still supposed to be a rudder post that gets mounted through here. I'm probably end up going to just epoxying 2 3/4 inch pieces of stock together in that, and then that'll become my physical rudder post. But I believe that drops in, and that goes attached to the main rudder. So I don't believe that attaches here just yet, but I'm going to do a little more digging to confirm that one. So that's kind of where we're at with this project. So today is going to be finishing installing the webs here, the rest of the gussets here, and then these all have plywood doublers. I'm going to use the 3/32 plywood doublers because my 16th wood is not here yet. I'm still waiting on Aircraft Spruce to send all of my materials for the wing spars. It should have shipped 4 days ago. I called them yesterday. They said it was supposed to already be on a truck. I will call. They were supposed to email me or call me back yesterday and did not. So I will probably give them a call this morning again to kind of confirm what the status of that one is. So, but that's where we're going with this stuff. Once that's done, we're getting awful close to completion of our fuselage. So I'm going through all the other stuff too that needs doing. One of the next projects too is our J3 components right here. These are going to get installed here probably later. I don't know if we're going to get to this one today, but this is on the short stick of things that need to get done as well. Because they say I can use a 1/2 inch or 3/4 square. I'm just going to use 3/4 square. I want all the strength I can get, and then I just need to cut the doublers as well. Because these flat stocks are going to be there as well. I'll get that kind of installed and ready to go. I think that's all for control horn stuff. Once we get that all squared away, we're good. Then it's going to be, and then we're getting really, really close to being done with the actual structure. Then what's going to come next is I just got to start sanding stuff down. There's a lot of, as you can see from that longer on, maybe you can, there's a lot of excessive glue and a lot of unsmooth surfaces, which are probably less than ideal for skin to be attached to. So I'm going to get break out the hand sander and start cleaning those up a little bit better. Because you can see, like, that's just that just looks gross. It's solid as can be. I put a lot of weight on this frame, but it is gross as all get. So we're going to clean that stuff up. It'd be nice by the end of the day if I can get all of the replacements cut. I'm going to get the replacements cut first, and then we will lop out the internals that apparently were a waste of time to attach. We'll lop out the internals and then get everything glued up and ready to roll. It'd be nice to get all of this stuff done. If we end up on a 6-month wait list again for my spar material and the last 16th inch plywood that I need to get, then we will start working on the rudder assembly. Our vertical stabilizer needs to go in there, and that's got a bunch of parts to it, so we'll probably design all of that, cut all the flats, because I believe all the flat components for the airfoil on the vertical are made with 3/32, and we have a bunch of 3/32 plywood, so we can get that started and rolled and ready to go, so that when we have time to finish this, we can just install it. So I will show you what we got going on the plans next. So give me a few minutes. I will reconfigure, and then we will go from there. And we're back in the dungeon with the side view plans. So things that are in here, I kind of get the vibe there's supposed to be a doubler on the back side of this, but it's not really marked real well. So not entirely sure on the doubler portion of that, but we can look later. Same thing with this. Look, I think there might be a plywood doubler on the back side of that for this to kind of all hold together and solidify when the engine mount comes through. I'll take a look at that too. Not a bad idea to just do it anyway on principle, but we'll go through there. Other things that are coming down the pipe here. I need to get these blocks. That looks like the same thing. There's a plywood doubler that goes on the inside, plywood doubler that goes on the inside for those mounts and those mechanisms. So I need to look at that. Same thing with this whole thing. I need to figure out exactly how that's all going to mount up and put that mechanism together. That's coming down the pipe here too. Doublers, we see all this stuff. There's supposed to be a plywood doubler for sure back here in the back half. So I need to cut that. I might just on principle just do one up here as well. You've got all of these gussets in place. Might as well have something that kind of helps fix that all in. And again, that's not a huge weight penalty. I know ounces turn into pounds and pounds and yada, yada, yada and all that good jazz. That being said, this might be a worthwhile addition. I'm going to try to avoid that as much as I can, but that's also probably part of the reason that we're probably going to go with a slightly bigger motor than is called for in the plans. It's just a better idea, in my opinion. Especially if these things are considered a little bit underpowered for the weight. I would rather put a little extra power on it and just not beat on it and have the capacity than the alternative. This is all going to go in today as well. This is not labeled, but I would bet dollars to donuts that's probably our seatbelt mount that Don was referring to. If that is ours, no, I think it's a control horn mount, because that actually mounts off of the J's. So that's probably not what that is. Yeah, it's control. This is all control arm stuff. So yeah, we're not going to mess with that at all. Well, we are. We're going to get the install in, but yeah, that's what that's all about. Seatbelt blocks, those are on the top. I showed you that on the install on the plane itself. This is our fresh piece of plywood. Give me one sec here. Sorry about that, folks. Yeah, so that was a piece of plywood. We already installed these. We already looked at those guys. The doublers there are in place. And then this is that guy that will double up against them. That's where I didn't even realize I had that, but that is in place. So that's going to be an easy fix. We just need to cut those and put them in. So moving to the tail section, getting to the stuff that I was kind of talking about before. Like I said, not super clear. It just kind of shows that there is some sort of a horizontal component right here. I'm not entirely sure why. Because once I got to digging, this is our O piece and this is our P piece. And you can see those on the vertical plan. They will insert here and here. Now this guy fully encloses. It's actually a little hoop, but it is flat. So I'm not sure why this is open bottom down here. So that part might not actually, I might not worry about doing this cutout. I might do it for lightning, because I'm trying to shave off weight where I can. But I will probably leave this bottom component right where it's at, just because of that. And these parts, you can see these, they extend to here and here. And then this is all eighth inch doublers that are actually cut here. So 27A and then 27A, 27B go right there. And then you've got 29A as well. You can see that these are all cut from eighth inch stock. We've got a fresh piece of eighth inch right over there, just for the occasion. And then this guy, I think, is actually a rear doubler. It's not labeled, but I think it actually goes in the back side of this before the rudder post install. So that's how I'm going to treat it, and that's where I'm going to put it, because it's there and it's completely unlabeled. And it also kind of makes sense to have that there if you think about it. It gives me something solid for that rudder post to mount to. And then 29B is that, and that will go all the way under. So I'm assuming that is the profile limitation of where the foam is going to start for this tail. And it's also going to be where the tail cone will actually mount when we make that out of foam later on. And then this is all the rudder mount assembly stuff. So this is just more plywood and gusseting to kind of keep everything supported. So that's kind of where we're at. That's all the material we have for right now. So that's my update. Not super long, but that's kind of the update on the construction that we've got so far. And give me a second. I'm going to change views here up in the garage again. All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in and watching this video and this build video. There is a lot of work obviously left to do. I think I'm right at like 85 or 90 hours into this project. Who knows how long it's going to actually take me. Again, amateur builder. I have had the advantage that I've been able to put a lot of hours into this thing in a relatively short amount of time. If I don't have to play catch up, hopefully that speeds this along a little bit. But I am fully expecting the 800 to 1,000 hours that they suggest out of this thing. A lot of work to be done. Ton of information that I'm learning every day. There's obviously missteps at every opportunity. Thank you for bearing with me in this learning experience for me. But again, that's a big chunk of the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing, is showing that this can be approachable and doable for normal people. I have no special construction skills. I was a 15-year full-time police officer. This can be done with basic tools and very little knowledge and basic skills. And with the wonderful world of the internet, between my build out, Dino Don's build out, etc., there's a lot of good information out there to get you through it. But I want to see general aviation continue, and it's super, super expensive cost of entry. As that's the case, if it survives, I expect it's going to be because people are sitting there in their garages building stuff like this. I picked a complicated kit right out of the gate. Pick something that's more easy for you, a complete kit if you can afford it. If not, then you might be finding old blueprints off the internet for a relatively reasonable price and doing your own construction. There's worse things in life. And then, you know, when you're done, you can put your name, your pride, your effort will always be attached to that bird. So thank you guys for tuning in. A lot of cool stuff going on at the shop these days. We're getting into our fall season, so lots of competitions I'll be attending, Brad as well. I'm going to be doing a ton of teaching, a lot of classes coming down the pipe. Super excited getting into the fall season, because that's usually when our fun classes really kick up and our attendance kind of skyrockets. So stop into the shop, 303 Cherry. say hello, ask me about the bird. I've already made a ton of friends just because they've seen the YouTube channel, the Facebook posts, the TikTok posts, whatever. And the support makes this so much easier to kind of keep moving forward. So thank you guys for everything, and I will talk to you in the next video.